Welcome to Deep in Love Talk Show. Tonight we have Wayne E. Brown. Welcome. We're excited to have you. Where are you calling in from?
Giving you a call all the way from San Diego,
Oh,
California.
that's
Yeah.
not that far. I'm down here in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. I was just up there last weekend.
Nice. I guess technically it would be up. How are you this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing very well. Thanks. How about you?
This is my funnest time of the day, so I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Our show is about it's 1 hour of pure positivity, highlighting those that are doing good in the world around us. So before we get started, will you just introduce yourself? Let us get to know you. Where are you originally from? Maybe how many siblings you have? What are your hobbies? Just a little bit of background about you.
Okay. So it's Wayne E. Brown. E is my middle initial from San Diego, California. And I have three older brothers. I'm the youngest. My parents are originally from North Carolina, but we were all born here in California. And let's see, being a California native, of course, you get used to the nice weather. It's a very diverse place here in San Diego. And this kind of brought about my existence of just being here in San Diego in this kind of diverse area, kind of catapulted me to do a lot of the things that I guess I'll have a chance to talk about tonight.
Nice. Well, let's get started. Most people that are motivational speakers, I tend to find just don't become that necessarily out of the goodness of their heart. There usually is a story or something that prompts them into doing that. Is that the case with you?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Again, being from San Diego, finished high school, played sports. I'm an athlete, played baseball for about 13 years, played football for about the same amount. Ended up going to school up at Northern California, UC Davis, where I played football for a year. That kind of transferred over into martial arts. And before I knew it, I found myself as an international student, and I was in Mexico. So I was actually studying abroad in Mexico, where I did that for half a year. Came back from Mexico, and before I graduated from college, I did one key thing that started me off on this whole international experience, and that was I applied to what is known as the JET program, the Japanese English and Teaching Program. And within 6 months of my graduation from college, I was living, working as a teacher in the Far East, Japan.
Okay, so are you studying motivational speaking or what are you currently studying in school?
Okay, so currently, no. Right now I'm a student. I'm a doctorate student, but my doctorate is in education. So it's a doctor of
Okay.
education, and that's focusing on organizational leadership.
And what prompted you to start? Have you always wanted to study this, or what prompted you to start exploring this avenue?
Yeah, just one thing pretty much led to another. So again, that story of me being in Japan, and how does this all tie into education? How does this kind of tie into me doing motivational talks? Well, for one, it exposed me to the international sphere, the international environment, and you don't. You have to be out there. You have to be in it to really understand it. So the motivational talks that I give are encouragement to say we live in a global community. We live in a global world. And one of the key factors in understanding that is to be a participant in that global community and a participant in that global world. How do you do that? You step outside of your boundaries. You explore. You travel. You engage with people who might speak another language, who are from a different culture. But that's one of the key things of my motivational talks is get out there and do it, explore, and make it happen.
I love it. I see that you've traveled to 31 countries. Does that mean that you speak multiple languages as well?
Yes, I do. Did have a chance to travel to 31 countries, and the languages that I speak rather fluently, of course, is one English, two Japanese, three Spanish, and a little bit of Arabic. So a little bit in each one. Watashi wa Wayne Brown desu ne. So my name is Wayne Brown. So y también yo hablo la lengua de español. That's Spanish, and marhaba, kefahalik. That was Arabic saying, how are you?
Great. That was phenomenal. That's what's up. Um,
Yeah.
did you always want to do motivational speaking growing up?
It grew on me and it kind of developed because my background was I was put in positions where I always had to talk and I was always kind of talking in front of people. So it first started off as a junior high school student where I got in ASB, right? And ASB is Associated Student Body. So I did that for several years, all the way up to a senior. And in my senior year, I was the ASB president of my school. So that, of course, you have assemblies and you have to do a lot of kind of talks to motivate your fellow students. Also, I was involved a lot in my church. I did kind of oratorical contests within the church where you kind of have competitions where you are speaking on different topics and you kind of go maybe from one church to another. But yeah, these kind of competitions really uh, make you speak and kind of fine tune your oratorical skills. So it kind of just evolved. It wasn't part of the plan, but it evolved.
You make everything sound very easy and like it all just happened. Was there ever a time in your life where things didn't just flow so easily?
You know, I tell people that when they're doing the travels, when you look at it from a distance, oh my gosh, you've been to Japan, you've been to Mexico, you've been to Abu Dhabi, Dubai. You know, you see the image of how it looks, and it's very nice. It is very beautiful, and travel is something that I encourage everyone to do. Exposure is a priceless experience. However, when you're living there for a long period of time and you're not just a traveler anymore, but you become more of a resident, you're going to face a lot of struggles. And one in particular is when I first got to Japan, I arrived in what's called Inaka. Inaka means the serious countryside. So I arrived in what's known as being the Iowa of Japan. And my city's or my town's name was Kokubunji Cho in Kagawa-ken in the prefect, or I should say in Shikoku. So basically, out of 16,400 people is just me, the non-Japanese. And I spoke zero Japanese at that time. So when you mean kind of struggle and what you have to embrace, the kind of everyday hardships, for a year, I was kind of thrown out there to survive. Very hard, very challenging, emotionally challenging in that kind of isolation, but by far the best experience of kind of internal and exterior growth possible. So it was great, but it was difficult. It was very challenging, but at the same time, it was a wonderful experience.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, people would refer to me as a motivational speaker, but I have a certain niche. I'm a suicide intervention coach. I run several support groups, and so I work a lot with suicidal individuals. And when you say you're a motivational speaker, it's such a broad topic. Do you have a niche that you kind of fit into or that you emphasize?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, not do I think, but one of my focuses is on internationalism, cultural diversity, and specifically, I focus on the inner challenge of self to put yourself in positions that you have to perform, and not only on a domestic level. Domestic comes into play, of course, because I think any motivational speaker has the ability to kind of push and motivate somebody to seek and to reach their goals. Okay, I try to say have these goals, but also cross that border, go to the limit, and push yourself to even those boundaries that you're not even aware of. And I think when you step outside of that box, when you step outside of the boundaries of going international, you really challenge yourself in ways that you never thought was possible.
I couldn't agree with you more. Do you have a country that you're traveling to next? Or a
Yeah,
new language that you're trying to learn?
actually, yes, I do. And actually, it's going to be South Africa.
Okay.
Africa, yeah. So don't worry about the whole Ebola thing because, again, Africa's not a country, it's a continent, you know. But it's a very big one, by the way. But, yeah, I'll be going to South Africa next.
Nice. Now, do you speak to large groups of audiences? Do you speak like conference settings, or do you do more like business motivational speaking, or one?
Yes,
What
I
type of platform?
I do a lot with high school. I do a lot with college kids. And it's great because this is that point of exposure where, again, they're trying to figure things out, right? So one of the things that I always tell college kids is about majors. Say for example, let's get some examples here. So the typical college kid, by the time they reach 12th grade, they know that they need to prepare for their SAT test. They need to at least prepare to go to college, filling out applications anywhere between 6 to 7 months, 8 months in advance. They need to get letters of recommendation and everything else. But the preparation, that's just a preparation to get into college. That major should have started anywhere between 8th, ninth, and 10th grade in terms of starting to think about where you're going to have this kind of direction. Um, One of the areas that I try to get kids to see is choose something that's not only going to be a job, but it leads to a career. Two way huge differences. So choose a major, of course, that you might have interest in, but also look down the road and say, is this job, is this degree going to get me not just a job, but does it lead to something on the lines of a career? And then I might push the student a little bit harder. I might say, in addition to it being a career, how far can you take it? Is it only within your city, within your state? Can this be something that is recognized globally? So I always try to get them to think a little bit beyond the traditional norm of just, okay, I got my degree and everything is going to be fine. Unfortunately, we need to have more preparation than that.
Yeah, I love it. So, are you branding yourself then, your name?
Absolutely. Webb, Wayne E. Brown, Webb International. Webb International, I have a publishing company. So in addition to me doing all my travels, I'm actually a published author. So this is my book here. The book is entitled Black Samurai, Global Footprint. And I wrote this book in 2006. And it talks a lot about my experiences of being in Japan, not only in Japan, but at the time that I wrote the book, I had traveled to 13 countries.
Oh, wow.
I had lived in Japan for 4 years and traveled to 13 countries, so I stayed in Japan for an additional 4 years, where now it's a total of 8 years of living, working in Japan, and traveling to a total of 31 countries. So after Japan, I came back to the States, and within a year of being back, I found myself with the opportunity to work in Abu Dhabi. So most people know of Dubai. Dubai is the big city. Well, I should say Dubai is the main city, which is most famous, but the big city is Abu Dhabi. That's the capital of the UAE.
Gotcha. So, who would benefit from reading your book?
Anyone interested in travel, coming from a very basic and humble beginning background, how is it that his story allowed him to travel to now 13 countries, but at the time, travel to a total of 13 countries, I'm sorry, now 31 countries, but how did he do it? So what I've done is kind of give you a step-by-step of how I did it, how my roadmap was made. And my motivational talks is saying, you got to learn from somebody. This is how I did it. How will you do it? You have to create your own roadmap. What is it that is driving you to push yourself to be whatever it is that you're going to become? If you have an idea, great. But there's certain things that you might want to do to make sure that you're on track to reaching those goals and to reaching that point. So, but as far as the branding is concerned, this is my publishing company, which is Webb International Publishing Company. And not only am I an author, but this is my publishing company, and I publish the books of other writers. So this is a book. He is a doctor located in Japan, and he wrote a book entitled Perpetually Healthy, Good Looking, and Rich. But he is a holistic doctor. So a lot of the methods that he practices are holism, such as acupuncture, acupressure, and you can see all this within the book. But the point is to have that goal, have that thing that drives you, and how do you, in this case of publishing, put it in print so that you're actually duplicating the process. If you're great, if you have the opportunity to be a motivational speaker and reach tens to hundreds and thousands of people, that's wonderful. But with the publishing aspect of what I do is I try to reach others via reading. And this actually sells me and allows me to speak on a whole lot of platforms.
That makes perfect sense. Congratulations to your book publishing, by the way. I published a book this summer, so I understand what it takes to go through that process. Can you tell us a little bit more about your publishing company, why people would want to publish through you as opposed to Amazon or another publishing company? I'm very interested in that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So far, I have book sales that are not only domestic, but go to roughly about 30 plus countries now. And I would say work with me is because I give you, the writer, the opportunity to address what it is that you really want to talk about. I think sometimes when you go to big publishing companies and so forth, what happens is your story might not look the same when you get it back. However, when working with me, what I try to do is say, this is your story, it's unique. Of course, we need to go through all the fine tuning, such as the proofreading, make sure everything is correct as far as font, layout, and all the guts of the matter, the basic things. But most importantly is that this still, when working with me, this tells your story. And I think I'm very fair in terms of how we work together, how we negotiate, and how we could really work on the marketing aspect of your book.
Well, that was my next question is, do you guys also do marketing or pushing of the book, promoting it?
Yeah, absolutely. So not only, the great thing now is that the internet is global, so I do marketing via global factors. I do marketing, of course, through bookstores. My book is selling in selective bookstores, and the goal is that there's no difference from my publishing company, that it would be in the hands of everybody just as any major book is. The access is what I'm talking about. And I think that when you're working with somebody like myself who has the big vision, this gives you, the author, a lot of flexibility too. And one of the key things is when you're out there public speaking, when you're out there selling your book, the marketing, one thing that people have to understand is you're your best salesman. I could, as a publisher, talk about you, set up dates, set up times for you to go out there, but really the story is told by you, the author.
Yeah, very true. So, do you have a book number 2 in the progress?
I do, yeah. I probably have enough material now to put out at least 2 books, but the goal is that come 2015, not only will it be Wayne E. Brown, but I'll be finished with my doctorate, so it'll be Dr. Wayne E. Brown, and that expected date as of now is May of 2015. So once I finish, I think that it really give me the time and the ability to say, fine, all this work and material that I have, via from public speaking, via from motivational talks, via from my own research that deals with my thesis topic and so forth, that's going to just open a door for me to really put this stuff in print. So within 6 months to 7 months, come summer of 2015, I'll be working on my second book, yeah.
Do we have a title for it?
I'm working on that.
Nice. You know what they say, the best publicity for your first book is to write a second one.
And I got a lot of great feedback from my first book. And the thing is, the sequel very much could be possibly Black Samurai 2. And see, one of the key things that I've done is not only did the book, is it in a book form, but also I have a 4-hour documentary done as well. And that kind of gives a visual aspect of me in these countries. So that's something it's out now via the fact of or I should say you can go to YouTube, you can watch the trailer, but the goal is to really package this in a way that the video is more, I get a lot more exposure. So there's a couple of other projects that I'm working on, is to really put this film out. Like I said, I have a 4-hour documentary film already done, and I've entered it into a couple of film festivals as well. So the goal is to try to keep this moving and take it up a notch, take it to the next level.
I love it. Can you list the name of your publishing company one more time?
Absolutely, yes. So it's Web International Publishing.
Gotcha. And where can followers or myself connect with you, follow you?
Follow me. You can go to my website, which is webinternationalpublishing.com. From there, you'll be able to find some links as far as some of the things that I have going on. And feel free to reach me. I'm very approachable by that matter. So I'm so approachable that my email, you can feel free to post this equally as well, is webglobal1@yahoo.com. So for all your viewers out there, if you have any questions, such as about, Wayne, I'm interested in working abroad, I'm interested in teaching abroad like you do, well, feel free to reach me. There's a couple of other projects that I have in motion too, about as far as training. I've trained some teachers already who are now working in Japan. They're working in China, Costa Rica, and also in the Middle East. So any questions that you might have, I'll probably be a good resource for you to find out how this thing works.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It makes me want to go write another book, or at least travel. Is there anything that I haven't brought up that you want to discuss?
Wow. I could probably just go on and on and on, but really, just stay motivated. You know, I think one of the key things is stay motivated. And here's a quote that I have from my book, and this is kind of random as I was just going through a couple of pages out of my book. I just pulled this out, and one of the key quotes that I just want to say is, you know, there are many dreams. However, the dream which you will find most realistic is the dream that you develop and you work on to make reality. So my focus is that find your dream, find what it is that drives you. And this doesn't always have to be something related to your job. It doesn't have to be something that's related to money. I've traveled to 31 countries. I'm not a millionaire. There's not a great amount of wealth that I could say that I have outside of the personal wealth of travel and talking to people and growing in that regard. But this is how it goes. And I want to give you this one example. While I was living and working in Japan, I actually traveled from Shimonoseki, Japan, which is a region of Japan. I went to South Korea via a ferry or a boat, which was roughly about 13 hours. From there, traveled from Busan up to Seoul, from Seoul up to Incheon, Incheon over to Tianjin. Tianjin is China. And that ferry ride, or that boat ride, lasted roughly about 28 hours. So I traveled to 3 countries. Within 3 countries, stayed a total of 13 days of travel, 9 of those days being in China, and came back to Japan. So just, Ariel, how much do you think that would cost? 3 countries, 2 weeks, you have to eat, you need a place to stay, you know, you got a hotel, it wasn't like staying with friends. So, and traveling, I saw the Great Wall, I went to Shanghai, Beijing. So just give me a rough idea.
I don't even know where to begin. I would think thousands and thousands of dollars. I have not traveled outside the country. I do have a passport, but because of the money issue and then working so much. So I wouldn't even know where to begin, but I would throw that out into several $1,000s easily.
So you mean several thousand as far as 3,000 to 4,000, 5, 6, something like that? More than
8,000.
Okay, $8,000. Now, and to be quite honest, that kind of package tour, it could be. Okay? I didn't do it. I didn't pay that much. I didn't have this schedule. I didn't have a tour doing this. I did this all independent. So to be honest with you, I traveled to within 3 countries, 14 days, apartment, I should say apartment, but accommodations, eating, and so forth. I did all of this within $1,000 budget.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
within $1,000 budget.
So therefore,
Uh,
your book would be a great guide.
there's ways to do it. You can absolutely do it, and and I wasn't sleeping on the streets or anything crazy like that. No, I was in decent. I was in good places. But that's what you can do, and I mean, there's a whole lot of tricks of how this thing works. That these kind of life skills of travel, you figure out that not only are they there and you get that out there, but when you come back, you can apply so much of this here and just see how resourceful you can be in any situation. And that's one of the key points that I try to point out.
I love it, and I really enjoy your quote, and I want to go back to that for a minute. You talked about find what drives you, and if you don't mind me asking, a lot of times people will email me saying, I don't know what my passion or purpose is, how do I find it? And some people, I feel like we just know from childhood what I want to do. Others have to search harder for it. So do you have any advice for people who are looking for what their purpose or passion or what that driving force is?
You know, there's a lot of different ways to and different approaches to find out what that thing is, that passion is that you have. Some cases it's kind of like looking within, spending time with yourself. True, that might work. I think in my case, I tried a lot of things. I tried different things, and I figured out and said, I'm good at this. I'm not so good at this. Maybe I want to work on this, or I want to abandon that. Just that's not for me. So I think in my case, because I tried so many different things, and some things I was better at than others, I got good at doing many things because I tried so many things. And I think the passion that I have is to continue to live life, to explore, um, to be a part of this global community that we have, and to give back. To me, giving back is such a resource in itself. The more it is true, there's all kind of sayings, and the more you listen to motivational talkers, they'll tell you the more you give, the more you shall receive. And this is all true. This is the law of attraction. This is the secret. These are those things. Yeah. So I think if you try numerous things, you're going to find something that really drives you. Some people are lucky. They get it early. They got it. They figured it out, and they can just shoot forward. Others, it's a process. And that process might be trying different things and stepping outside of your boundaries a little bit. And sometimes those things you'll find out, wow, you might blow yourself away.
I love it. I actually was just discussing this last night in our support group. A girl was saying, I can't find my passion or my purpose. And I said, make it a goal in your heart or a purpose in your heart to be a yes man. Say for just a month, I'm going to try and say yes and open the universe, the doors to the universe for new opportunities. Whether it's, hey, do you want to go to this play with me? Do you want to volunteer at this? Do you want to go check this out? Say yes. Just by doing that, you're opening for new opportunities. And you might find something by trying new things or traveling new places that you didn't even know you enjoyed. So yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you even remove the factor that passion and maybe success are connected, in some cases, passion and success aren't quite on the same vibration. They're not on the same level or same playing field. So, but that doesn't mean your passion can't give you the success. So what I'm saying is your career might be that financial engine that you might make money and you could support your way of life, your lifestyle, but that may not be your passion, and that's fine. I don't advocate that passion and career always are connected. In most cases, that's rare. It's rare that you get lucky to say, not only am I passionate about my job, but this is my career as well. That may not be the case, but this might be a vehicle for you to do things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I absolutely love it. You shared an amazing quote from your book, which I love. Is there a quote that you live by personally that maybe someone else has spoken?
I like Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer. He is a very strong motivational speaker, and this is something that kind of just resonates to me more of recent. And he's like, one of his key phrases or his key quotes is that spiritual beings inside of we are spiritual beings inside of physical bodies.
Yeah.
So that brings about all kind of new things of how you look at yourself, how you might look at others, and in relation to the world and everything else. So I kind of focus on these interpersonal things that allow me to say, wow, how can I be of service? How can I be of resource and get somebody else on their path, get somebody else on their way? And the more in which I do that, this vibration, this law of attraction, just more comes back to me. So I believe in that, and I think that as you kind of are of assistance to others, you find what you do to be passionate in helping others. You'll be surprised how much of that comes right back to you.
Absolutely. The key, I believe, is gratitude and spreading love, helping other people. I'm actually going to end the show with a quote that I picked out earlier, which is funny, from my book.
Okay.
I'm trying to 25, but it's a quote by Rhonda from The Secret. Be grateful for what you have now. As you begin to think about all the things in your life you're grateful for, you will be amazed at the never-ending thoughts that come back to you of more things to be grateful for. You have to make a start, and then the law of attraction will receive those grateful thoughts and give you more just like them.
Absolutely.
And that's from The Secret, which I absolutely recommend, tell people to check out, to read, to research. If you've never heard the term law of attraction, it's definitely something to read about.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's around us all the time, right? But
absolutely, whether we believe it or are aware of it, it's still there. It's like the law of gravity. It's a known fact. Whether we want to argue about it and try to resist it, it's still there.
You're right. I agree.
Well, Mr. Wayne Brown, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Our time has now come to an end. Do you want to leave us with any last thoughts?
Any last thoughts? Do you. In order to be an active participant in life, you have to step up to the plate. You have to challenge yourself. You have to take small steps, and you'll figure out how these small steps lead to something much bigger. So live, continue to do so. Feel free to reach me, by the way. Again, I'll say my email one more time.
Okay.
webglobal1@yahoo.com. Also my website, webinternationalpublishing.com.
And will you say the name of your book?
Again, here's the name of my book. It's entitled Black Samurai, Global Footprint. Okay? And you could, of course, you can find this online. You can go directly to my website, Yahoo, Amazon. There's numerous other websites out there. If you Google it, I'm pretty sure something will pop up.
Perfect. I will be sure to research that, as well as your publishing company. I have several friends who I am helping publish their books at the moment. We're still in the proofing stages, but I'm very much interested in researching your company. Again, Mr. Wayne Brown, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us, and I am very grateful that you spend your evening doing this, and then I get to have the opportunity to speak to amazing people like yourself. It's such a joy to end the day talking about this, having this type of conversation. It really sets the tone for tomorrow. Plus, it just gets you excited and amped and like, oh yeah, maybe I want to write a book, or maybe I want to go to try what I was doing. Maybe I do want to travel. Sometimes we get so busy and caught up with the day-to-day tasks that sometimes we just need a little bit of encouragement or just feeding off someone's energy. And you definitely bring amazing energy to the table. So it's very contagious.
I was just going to say, Ariel, you got some serious strong energy going on. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, following you, people will feel that. So, yeah, keep going. Just do what you do.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to everybody else listening in. This has been another awesome talk show with Mr. Wayne E. Brown, and I will see you guys all next week. Continue to spread love. Good night, everybody.
Good night.